12 foods that will never expire. 1. Honey. Honey may crystallize over time, but it won't actually expire or become unusable. The reason it is so resistant to spoilage is because it's only made up of about 17% water, which is too low to accommodate most bacteria and fungi. The honey actually dehydrates bacteria, so it is essentially its own preservative. If your honey does crystallize, just run your sealed container under hot water for a few minutes. 2. Powdered milk. Powdered milk will stay good for 2 to 10 years after its best-by date, especially if you store it in an airtight container. Store it in a cool place below 6°F to extend the storage life even further, or pop it in your freezer to keep it fresh indefinitely. Reconstituted powdered milk isn't a perfect substitution for the fresh stuff, but it sure is nice to have on hand when you're in a bind. 3. Cornstarch. Cornstarch is another powdery ingredient that will stay good indefinitely. Follow the same storage tips listed above to ensure it stays uncontaminated. 4. Sugar. Both white and brown sugar can be used indefinitely if they are stored in an airtight container away from light and heat. When sugar is properly stored, it is extremely inhospitable to bacteria and other things you probably don't want to eat. However, if moisture is allowed to mix with the sugar, it can become hard and clumpy, and even become a food source for bacteria. For long-term storage, try storing your sugar in a vacuum-sealable container. 5. Vinegar. According to the Vinegar Institute, the shelf life of most vinegars is virtually indefinite. The acidic nature of vinegar makes it self-preserving and also makes it a great preservative for other foods. Properly stored white vinegar will remain unchanged over time, but other types of vinegar may change in color and appearance over time. The Vinegar Institute says that these changes are usually just aesthetic, and that the vinegar will still be perfectly good to use. 6. Salt. Treating foods with salt is one of the world's oldest methods of food preservation. It is extremely effective at dehydrating things, including bacteria, so properly stored salt will remain usable for years. However, if the salt is fortified or has added ingredients, like iodine, you can assume that the salt will have a shorter shelf life than regular old salt. 7. Pure vanilla extract. Pure vanilla extract has a very high alcohol content, around 40%, and alcohol is a well-known preservative. A bottle of pure vanilla extract will stay good pretty much indefinitely. Imitation vanilla also contains alcohol, but it also contains other ingredients that contribute to its shorter shelf life. 8. White rice. We mention white rice specifically because brown rice will eventually go bad due to its higher oil content. But white rice, if stored properly in an airtight container, will stay good forever. 9. Maple syrup. You can store unopened maple syrup in your pantry indefinitely, but once it has been opened, it needs to be stored properly to stay usable. Put your maple syrup into an airtight container and store it in the fridge after opening. Even stored this way, pure maple syrup shouldn't expire for years. 10. Soy sauce. Soy sauce contains a high level of salt, which, as we know, is a great preservative. So if your soy sauce is properly sealed and stored in a dark cupboard, it will stay perfectly usable indefinitely. 11. Popcorn. Bags of microwave popcorn will expire, but the loose popcorn kernels can last virtually forever. Store them in an airtight container in a cool, dry area, and you can have popcorn anytime you want, even years from now. 12. Dried beans. As an excellent source of protein, fiber, vitamins, and antioxidants, beans are great staple food to stock up on. Dried beans will last indefinitely if stored in a cool, dry place. That claim was put to the test in a 2005 study at Brigham Young University, which prepared and served pinto beans that were up to 32 years old to a group of 58 people. Among those taste testers, around 80% said they would eat even the oldest beans as part of their regular diet in an emergency situation. 12 foods that will never